for me, it's been a home run in two ways, on the racetrack and also building our brand here in Australia in our business.
I finished first or second every year since '05, which was...
I knew it was fast before, and I proved it very...
It's motor racing, you know. You can't really just look at the last race of the year. You have to look at... it starts at Adelaide and it ends at Newcastle. But
from the racetracks across Australia, and here's Inside Supercars.
Welcome to Inside Supercars, Craig Ravel and Tony Whitlock, as we head into the season final of the V8 Supercar Championship. It's going to be a thrilling weekend, Craig.
It will be, Tony. It's always great to see a championship come down to the wire, and just think if it can be as exciting as the WRC was last weekend up on the Coffs Coast. Destination New South Wales will have had a very, very profitable motorsport experience over the past 2 weeks.
Indeed, and could it be something like the 2017 final at Newcastle?
I doubt that. I doubt that. Bathurst seems to turn up a great win every year, but gee, can Newcastle do it is a huge question. I've got a feeling one way or the other. I think it's decided on Saturday.
Indeed. Well, it's been a fascinating build-up to this race, because there's a whole bunch of things that are still not settled, even though another week's time the season will be over. Still, obviously, cars are being built for the new year, but we've got a whole bunch of different things, such as Winterbottom and Tickford Racing settling on their driver lineup. You've got LeBrock, who's obviously done very well this year. Fortunately, I think we've got Erebus, they've settled on there too, with Anton backing up for another season. You've got two of the seats at Kelly Racing or Kelly Motorsport still to be finalised, as well as Blanchard's driver. Of course, he's decided to step down. So there are a lot of things certainly still in the air.
Yes, I don't know how that's all going to pan out, and we'll certainly see over the next couple of days. One man we're speaking to later on in the show is Scott Pye, and I know you've been doing the numbers there, and he's had a season best finish, and
yep,
sorry,
he's going to have his best ever season since he's been in Supercars. He's driven, of course, for 3 different teams in that time, but Walkinshaw's, or to give them their full name, Walkinshaw Andretti United, have done a very good job. James Courtney's had some bad luck along the way, but Scott has certainly shone on a number of occasions, and yet again has shown himself to be a driver who's certainly got far more in his future coming up. So we're having a chat with Scott Pye. That will be a wonderful moment. He's, of course, in a different world now, because he's not a full-time race driver. He's got his own business. That'll be interesting to find out a bit more about.
Yeah. The other interesting thing about this weekend is it's the last hurrah for the Falcon, Tony, and it's had a interesting existence. Of course, for a while there, you didn't see a Falcon on a track in the Australian Touring Car Championship, because you could get a Mustang or a Sierra that would do a much better job, much cheaper for you.
Well, fortunately, that's not the case the last 20 years, but now with both the Falcon and Commodore not being produced in this country, it certainly is leaning towards where we're buying an imported Commodore, and you can no longer buy a big Ford. You've got to buy a smaller Ford if you want a sedan, or you buy a Mustang. And certainly that's going to be fantastic, because there's an enormous amount of development been happening with the Mustang, with plenty of drivers jumping out and having a pedal, which leads us to TCR. There's lots of developments in that category as well.
Yes, the launch at Eastern Creek, we saw that, along with the Super 5000s too, I should mention, or the Super 5000, and Chaz Mostert in a Hyundai getting some laps in there. And one of the quotes that I took a lot away from is they're actually quite comparable to a GT3 car in terms of driver satisfaction. That is a huge statement in my mind that could see an interesting opportunity there for drivers who want to have that experience but don't have the GT3 budget. James Moffat was in a Honda Civic, which David Wall Racing had worked on some of the preparations for it.